Time to go down to the field with the belt buckle and the beard. Take it away.
Thanks, Scott. I'm Wave Punk, joined by Findable Carpet, and we have quite the grudge match on our hands today.
This is insane. I know they were just calling them the leftover team, but they're kind of like pizza where they're almost better as leftovers. They're insane. I love watching Genesis, and we were just freaking out over that last series. I couldn't be more excited to see how this one goes. We just watched the seed 1 and 4 play something so neck and neck. So 2 and 3, these guys are going to be even closer. They're really going to be going head-to-head, toe-to-toe. Like you should have heard us in the back.
Oh my goodness, iBuyPower and Vex, they set quite the bar, quite the standard for today, so I'm really hoping that this Genesis KOU game holds up to the hype. But yeah, like they were saying at the desk, you have Sad Jr. cutting over to Kings of Urban just the last moment. Moses kind of left without a home, without a family, joins up with Genesis, and you know Genesis is going to be playing with that chip on their shoulder. They want to prove themselves in this game right now. It's maybe not just about the RLCS at this point, it's about this matchup for them.
Oh, they definitely want to prove themselves. And people to look out for, I mean, Quinn's an insane passing player. You've Pluto, who's insane on defense and just as impressive on offense. We've seen him go from one side to the other of the field with just no messing up at all. Moses with so much to prove. And then just on the other side, though, Kings of Urban, we saw Sad Jr. with one of the grossest shots I've ever seen in my life on Thursday. Honestly, just go on Reddit. It's probably still in the top for anyone that's curious. Or
The Reddit is there's so many GIFs on Reddit every day that after a while you sort of be like, you've seen them all. You haven't seen this one.
No,
I watched it many, many times, and like I still don't believe how this went in. My goodness, that was a crazy shot.
Yeah, Fireburner, the Cobb, and Sad Jr. are going to be coming out strong. You know, I had the pleasure of playing with Jacob earlier. I think it was this week, a week prior. So much fun. Those guys have a blast when they play. I think if anyone's heard Sad Jr. in a chat, he has so much fun. And again, same with Genesis, though. Like that's where I think these teams thrive, is they still enjoy playing with each other, but they can really hone in on that competitive setting. And I think like this game should be like just neck and neck, toe to toe. They're going to be coming at it with each other.
Oh, I'm glad you said that. So we have Kings of Urban with, you know, this old guard that's been around for a long time. On the other hand, we got Genesis, a team that's got something to prove against this team that kind of stiffed them over before the season. How do you think this one's going to pan out? Where's this game's going to be?
I think Genesis is going to come out with a little more fire underneath them because they have been climbing the ranks, whereas Kings of Urban has kind of always been up there in the top 3 for a very, very long time. I mean, Kings of Urban was one of the first teams to overthrow that throne of iBuyPower in rank 1, when iBuyPower was like ranked #1 for so long. Kings of Urban was like that first team to really throw them. Genesis has been climbing, but they've been climbing steadily, and they have not been budging. They've been getting only better and better. I know when I was talking to Lawler, who spoke to Pluto, that they've been just practicing their hearts out. Genesis is really taking this seriously, and I think it's going to show in this next matchup.
I'm excited to see where it goes, and you talked about it. They're kind of shooting up through the rankings, you know. We'll see where they're able to go moving forward, though. You know, there's momentum, something we talk about a lot. You know, we talk about in-game, we talk about it in the moment, but it can also be something that carries over for the season. Genesis has been building momentum. Kings has to sit there and just kind of cruise control at 60 miles per hour at the top, you know, and eventually you're going to maybe crack, and this might be that moment.
This really could be. Like, I don't know if you guys understand, like, my heart is racing. Like, especially after that series. Like, all these games are going to be so fantastic today. I just, I don't even know how to contain myself. Like, this is so real for us.
So, map count. Where you think it's going?
You know, like, where's it going to go? I think they're just going to mimic the last ones. I think they're just going to have some, they're just going to keep it calm, keep it easy. They want to play the right game. I don't see any way Suns coming into something this insane, only because they don't really want to jostle their own, like, potential, because they know what they can do. I think we're going to be sticking to the same, just the same standard maps.
We'll be getting into the match here. Game number 1 on DFH. And we're going to have, it looks like some players are disconnecting. We'll be jumping back out, maybe remaking the lobby here. Not sure what's happening at this moment, but we will be back with you shortly. Yeah, so players to look at moving forward. We have Quinn, we have Pluto, we have Moses. What are the kind of the players you think, like, who's going to be the primary defensive player on Genesis?
On Genesis, I'd have to probably say Pluto. While I know last time we watched him, he actually was very hyper-aggressive, and he was doing a lot of, like, forward passing plays and getting up there for a lot of the shots.
Right.
But he's just too good at reading the ball off that backboard, off of his own backboard, which is the hardest thing to read. Like, reading the board, like, when you're on offense and you hit it off that backboard, you have a better angle, you kind of have a better view of what's happening. But on your own backboard, when you're on ball cam, the ball's above you, everything gets kind of jostled up. You don't know who's coming in and where they are.
Right. We got a first-person perspective of that last game with Gambit in goal, sitting there, you know, not really sure where to go, and they're bouncing off the backboard, really hard to hit there. But hopefully we'll be able to start this game up now. We are in DFH Stadium. We have Moses, Quinn, and Pluto in the orange with the Kings of Urban in the blue. Set to go here on kickoff. We have Moses, Sad Jr. going, pretty neutral kickoff, sitting there. Now Jacob able to put it off to the side. Pluto sending it back to midfield. Some good plays here. Teams feeling each other out. And finally, have Kings of Urban on the offense. Nice shot from Sad Jr. Pluto able to save that one. Pluto still in goal. Going to clear it out again. Going to have Genesis moving on to offense.
The placement by Sad Jr.'s shot was just unreal. He put it in the perfect spot. Forced.
Oh, the pressure coming out from Genesis, and they're going to strike first.
You really can't sit back on net. You see Kings of Urban just kind of, or apologies, you see Genesis, or wait, hold on, I'm all messed up. Kings of Urban just kind of sitting in net, all three of them grouped up. You saw Genesis coming in hard off that backboard. Once you let it touch off your backboard, you're pretty much opening it up for a potential shot. So you want to make sure you stop that from ever happening.
4:38 left to go. Genesis already on the board against Kings of Urban. Kings of Urban going to try and push it out of their half. And then a nice shot off the backboard. Pluto, 2 misses from Genesis. You see some free shots here. Jacob going to shoot on net, not quite going in. Oh, and Pluto able to clear it out. Kings of Urban with an opportunity, but they were not able to capitalize. Still keeping the pressure up. Jacob going to send that one. Nice lofter. Sad Jr. with an opportunity to send off the backboard, and here comes the last one. Fireburner able to tie it up.
Here again with the grouping in net, just on the other side of the field. We see Genesis all in net. Quinn trying to come off that back wall. It was a decent attempt. A for effort. He wasn't able to make it, but he did his very best. And again, just all that grouping didn't work out too well.
First minute of the game, already 2 goals, all tied up here. Very even game. It's exactly what we want to see. Ball moving over onto Kings of Urban's half. Kings of Urban, Fireburner hanging back in goal. He misses that touch. Ball lofted in front of his goal. Jacob wanted to set that over. We've had quite a few whiffs on both sides of the ball at this point. Not the cleanest of games yet, but still very aggressive. Moses bowling Sad Jr. in goal. Quinn tried to get the final touch, but Jacob able to put it away, and now they're moving on to the offense.
Moses bullying his swapped teammate. Maybe a little bit of revenge on the field. Who knows what's going on? They're spreading out a little bit more, but like you said, there's some uncharacteristic whiffs coming out of both teams, which is probably due to a little bit of jitters right now. They both know they have to fight for this.
Yeah, both going to be just getting warmed up here in game number 1. Ball back on Kings of Urban's half. Quinn trying to win the interference, but sends the ball back onto his own half. Moses able to push it back into Kings of Urban. Jacob hanging back on defense, going to try and win the 1v1. Very neutral there. Fireburner able to pop it up and keep it in the corner. A lot of players piled up around this ball. Pluto to Quinn. And the ball's going to cross. If Quinn can just get up and into this one, an angle from Quinn, and it goes in.
Quinn gets up. That wasn't a very hard shot, but all he had to do was put it up because everyone was flat-footed in the net. I don't know why neither Jacob or Sad Jr. Looks like Jacob cheated up a little bit too early. All Quinn had to really do was place it. Neither player could get back quick enough for KOU, and Quinn was able to put that over him, but he got up so quick for that, he didn't have to put a lot of power. He really just had to put it at a good placement in the net.
Sad Jr. trying to get the save. Just not quite getting the touch he needs. A nice bully there from Pluto. Ball lofted in front of the goal, or just rolling in front of the Kings of Urban goal. Sad Jr. going to push that one all the way back into Genesis' half. Moses coming out here. 1-point lead for Genesis with 3 minutes left to go. We said this was going to be a heavy and hard match, and it has shown up right here in game number 1. Some demoing on the wall, or bullying on the wall. Kind of running some interference. Still the ball just not being touched very strongly by either team. The whiff still coming out a little bit at this point. The ball going to cross in front of the goal. Sad Jr. couldn't quite push it in. Good interference from Pluto, keeping that one out.
Pluto got there just in time. He barely made it for that save. Both these teams are trying to keep control. Like you said, they're not doing hard clears, but I think that's a very tactical move by them, and it's very smart. They understand that giving possession away against either of these teams is going to be not a smart decision.
Fireburner and Pluto again in net, able to keep that one out. The savior medal for Pluto, the shot from Sad Jr., the block from Moses. Excellent defense from Genesis, keeping this one out and away. But now they're kind of running into each other in the corner, and the pressure is going to stay up for Kings of Urban. James going to try and back pass this to a teammate, sends it out to midfield. There's Fireburner and Sad Jr. kind of tangled up on top of each other. Now Quinn going to push this one back into King's half. He's got an open net if he can just win the mind games with Sad Jr. on the rotation, but he's not going to be able to get there. Sad Jr. clearing that one back into Genesis' half.
A lot of back and forth like we're seeing right now, but a lot of them are actually amounting into decent shots on goal. They're making plays for themselves. Right. They're getting the passes. They're like both teams, again, this is a 1-point game already with still 2 whole minutes left. This could so easily go in either direction.
So many saves coming out from Genesis. They've been on defense so much this game, but they do have the lead. We're past halftime, 1:43 left to go. And they have a 1-point lead. Pluto with an opportunity to make it 2, takes the shot, but Sad Jr. with the block, keeping it out. Now Fireburner is pressing it back onto the other half.
Pluto, if you take a look what he just did, he actually waited for that bounce to take the shot, because if you wait for the ball to bounce just up off the ground, you get a more powerful shot. So he waited patiently. He knew a defender wasn't going to get there in time, and he tried to go for a power touch over, I believe it was Sad.
Oh, Fireburner with the shot. I believe the defensive player for Genesis got bullied out of net.
Looks like Quinn and Pluto are dropped back. Pluto went for the touch. Sad Jr. just slammed Quinn out of the way. He almost slammed him into the ball.
He almost did.
Good read on that. I mean, knowing when to go for those bumps is so pivotal. Like, it can be such a horrible decision for your own team or such a great decision, and right there it worked out for Sad.
We've seen a couple times today of players removing the goalie from their position. Such a strong play. I'm so happy to see these high-level teams coming out in force and able to make the plays they need. 1 minute left to go. All tied up here in game number 1. Moses puts it into the corner. Pluto and Quinn both rotate, trying to push this out. Moses still back in goal as Fireburner sets it up for his team, crossing it in front of the goal there. Not going to get any setup that they can make use of, though. And Jacob coming up in the backfield, trying to push it out. Pluto making an opportunity here. If he can just get into net, Fireburner couldn't get there.
Can't believe Pluto's able to make this. Looks like a little too much aggression coming out of Kings of Urban. Jacob puts it up the wall. Pluto came off so far and so quick. That was actually, we were actually on board with him. I didn't think he was going to make it out in time because it looked like that Jacob had hit it off the wall hard enough to where hopefully Pluto wouldn't make it out.
Right.
But Pluto's just too good off that wall. He made it out quick enough, and no one rotated back.
52 seconds. Kings of Urban is down by 1 in game 1. Jacob sending it off the wall. Sad Jr. puts it back onto the wall. And now we're going to have Jacob sending it back around. This ball just kind of lofted in front of, just sitting in the midfield, not really going much of anywhere. Sad Jr. to try and push this one out. 30 seconds left, and Kings of Urban do need to score. Moses keeping the pressure up, sending it onto the back wall. Quinn bouncing it around the corner. Now Jacob with ball control. He's just got to beat out Pluto. He gets it over his head. Not goal. He couldn't kill the forward momentum, and it's going to go in.
These 1v1 opportunities, Pluto had to contest Jacob. He might have had a better opportunity going for it, knowing Jacob didn't have it. He was the last man on, and being in a 1v1 opportunity at this level, it's almost guaranteed that the person that has control is probably going to have a really good opportunity on net. Pluto caught himself in a bad position. It's one of those moments where you need to make it. You either go for it or you don't, and he kind of caught himself in the middle ground.
Yeah, you called it before the game. Pluto was going to be the defensive man of the hour, and he has been so strong. Fireburner shooting some more here. Not going to quite get there. He wasn't able to save that last one, though, and we do have a tie game. 13 seconds left. Moses Genesis trying to press up here. Great setup from Pluto. It's going to loft. Moses trying to put it away, but Fireburner or Sad Jr. in goal, keeping that one out. Final countdown happening. Ball just sitting on the wall. No one in a really good position to carry it. Jacob going to push it around and see if they can dunk it in and sit in front of the goal. Oh, it didn't go in.
Quinn
so
got
close.
there just in time, putting it off his own post. That was so close.
So clutch there. We have overtime in game number 1. Quinn coming out from goal, going to push it off the backboard. We'll see if anyone can follow up. Fireburner able to clear it into the corner. Great touch there, giving his team ball control.
Look at that placement he just had with that defensive touch. He goes up and beats it before it touches the backboard, which is what I was talking about earlier, and he puts it over to the corner gracefully, gently. Let's make sure that his team has the next touch.
This is some good offense coming out from Genesis, keeping it on this backboard so much. Quinn going to cross it there. Jacob putting it back into the corner. A little bit of volleying in the corner happening. Now the ball going to be pushing back into Genesis's half. Moses back on defense, going to try and clear this out, setting it up for his teammates. He and Pluto kind of pinch that one over into the caddy corner, sending it all the way. Sad Jr. coming out from goal. Great hit there. A little bit of ping pong happening. Both teams feeling each other out, trying to not commit over too much, wanting to stay strong on defense. They realize any goal right now gives the win in either direction. First minute still scoreless in overtime.
Overtime tends to really slow teams down because
oh my goodness, there was the shot.
Looks like maybe 2 players on Genesis both went up for that. Not the kind of goal that you generally want to let in an overtime like this. It was a decently powerful shot. Oh no, Jacob got the touch.
Yeah, he got a shot touch behind him. It was close to an overcommitment, but they shot the ball behind Genesis's players. That's what gives Kings of Urban the win.
That was a great read by Jacob, cheating up there by his teammate. All he had to do was just make sure that the goalie couldn't get there in time, and that's exactly what he did.
Man, look at these saves coming out from Genesis. They have 8 saves, 4 of which came from Pluto. Such strong defense and really making use of the offense when they were able to get out. Making use of that counterplay, and they had some great sieges as well. Great play on both sides, but just Kings of Urban with just a slight edge here in game number 1.
I can't tell if Pluto likes to be defense or he's just so good at it that he feels maybe it's like, you know what, sometimes what you excel at, and you just got to take advantage of that. He knows he's so good at reading off that back wall. He's one of the best wall players I've seen. Like, I remember when I ran into him a long time ago in ladder, I'm like, what is he doing? He was nuts. He can do some crazy stuff off the walls, and and on defense, that's such a good thing to do because you're playing a preemptive defense when you're coming off that wall. You're stopping the ball from bouncing off the backboard. You're making sure they don't get any of the nice bounces they're looking for. So I think that's why Pluto tends to hang back.
Well, and I think a lot of what we saw in this game was Pluto being the 3rd rotation on his team, being the one that was furthest back who was going to be taking the shots. And so what we saw a lot from them was him being the one that was left back in goal when Kings of Urban pressed up on offense. So that just speaks to strong rotations on this Genesis squad. We'll see what they're able to do here moving into game 2. We've moved on to Utopia. So we have Kings of Urban are 1-0 up in the series.
They might be 1-0, but that game was as close as can be, putting it into overtime. Genesis actually had the lead for a good portion of that game, and a small little mishaps here and there is what gave KOU that aggression. So maybe if they can just kind of seal that deal, make sure they don't make any tiny mistakes, they should be able to take game 2.
Kings of Urban's had a good 20 seconds of offense. We're seeing Genesis trying to push up into offense now, pushing the ball onto Kings of Urban's half. Sad Jr. able to clear it into the corner. Fireburner back on defense for Kings of Urban. He's going to be taking this ball as it bounces off the wall. Get it past his teammates, put it up off the wall. Great hit there, trying to pass it around, but some good midfield interference from Genesis, keeping this ball in Kings of Urban's half.
Take a look at Quinn Lobdell whenever he's up in their half. He likes to put himself in a good passing position. He gives himself the opportunity to be passed to by his own defender so that he can put it in front of the net for the 3rd touch. He likes to do that, and it's definitely fun to watch when you see him cheat up like that.
Interesting defensive position from Genesis right now. 2 players in their own corner. Moses back on goal. Fireburner's going to take a shot. It's going to go off the backboard. Moses, great speed to get to that ball. Play it off the backboard. That's the way you counter the backboard meta right now. And now we have them up on offense. Pluto going to try and take a shot, carrying it through the air. Fireburner able to get it out and away. Not one there to quite dunk it. There's Quinn with a shot off the top, just off the crossbar. So close to being our first goal here in game number 2.
If they can get up just a little bit quicker, they might have been able to sink that in. To be fair, I think a lot of weird things happened to get that ball in front of the net, and no one truly expected it. So the 2nd and 3rd player weren't as quick up on Genesis.
For sure.
But them showing this aggression this early on means they really want this game.
Pluto moving up with the ball. Jacob going to pass it around the wall. Now that ball's lost in front of the goal. There's the shot from Moses. Excellent team play from Genesis.
Pluto utilizing, I believe, a very slight pinch off this side wall. Jacob went to go touch it. It wasn't what he wanted.
Yeah.
Pluto just gets just underneath it and pops
Just
it up.
enough.
And Moses, knowing exactly where it's going to be, you can tell they've been practicing a lot. Moses trusted Pluto to get that touch. And if Pluto had hit that any harder, that would not have been an opportunity.
Such an excellent play from Pluto. A good capitalization from Moses. Puts Genesis up 1-0 with 3:20 left to go here in game number 2. Kings of Urban on the offense, keeping that ball on that backboard as we've been talking about all series. Sad Jr. to try and pass this one out. Here's the shot to Jacob. Ball sitting in front of the goal. It's not quite going in. Sad Jr. ran out of boost, couldn't get the final touch. Quinn going to try and push this one out, but the ball's still in front of goal. Great pressure from Kings of Urban. Quinn Lobdell finally able to push it out. I think everyone's boost starved. We're going to have a little bit of a reset as Genesis pushes back into offense.
Opportunities made by Kings of Urban are just insane right now. They were actually able to predict that. Jacob floated above the net, looked for the pass. Sad Jr. put it in his teammate.
Quinn Lobdell able to push that one away. That ball was lofted straight up.
The ceiling touches are just so hard. Like, you never expect them when it goes straight up and actually bounce off the ceiling. Beneficial towards Genesis because it came down harder before Sad Jr. could rotate back. But at the same time, KOU needs to have a little tighter defensive rotations to prevent anything like that from happening.
Quality play there from Quinn, playing up, really being heads up, knowing to keep an eye on that ball. And when we saw it go straight up, he was able to push that and punch it in. 2-0 right here as we're approaching halftime. Genesis leading in game number 2. Fireburner with a great touch, sending it towards the goal, but just going to go just wide. Jacob pinning that one into the corner. Good offensive pressure coming out from Kings of Urban. Loft into the other corner. Now Jacob needing to push it, keep it up there, give his teammates time to get in a position for shooting. Not able to get there. Now Quinn able to push back onto offense, going off of the blue corner. Here's Moses with an opportunity to the far corner, just wide of the goal.
Both these teams are doing a good job of making sure they kind of bail each other out. You'll see moments when one player knows he doesn't have it, but a nearby player's close enough to where they kind of like let them take the opportunity. That's how you know they've got good communication and just good map awareness. You don't always need to communicate about it, but you can tell that they understand when to come in.
There's the shot from Quinn. That ball was lofted right in front of the blue goal for a very long time. I was very keen to see who's going to come up for that. Now Sad Jr. pressing up. Moses able to get the save, keep that out of net. A lot more even game. We've seen Genesis much more up on the offense this game. It's been good to see. They have not had to make the ridiculous amount of saves in goal that we saw in game number 1. 140 left to go. Kings of Urban still down by 2, still scoreless in this game.
Genesis is converting defense to offense just a little bit too quick right now for Kings of Urban. They're going from what would be a defensive maneuver. Oh, can Quinn get the touch?
So close.
That's exactly what I'm talking about, though. They're getting those touches, they're touching to each other, and they're not letting Kings of Urban get prepared on defense, which is how they're able to sink these goals in and not let KOU turn it around.
Pluto and Quinn both up on offense. There was another great pinch from Pluto, but no one quite able to capitalize. It was moving a little bit faster than the last one. Moses trying to keep the pressure up. Now Sad Jr. with ball control, pressing it up to half line. Pluto able to clear it back into Kings of Urban's half. Got the balls. Ball's been spending a lot of time in the corner. Here's Pluto with an opportunity. Open net. He goes for the fake out, but doesn't quite. Sad Jr. reads it well, keeping it out. Final minute, though. Kings of Urban still need 2 just to force overtime.
They need 2, and Kings of Urban really hasn't had a whole lot of pressure here. They haven't really been on offense a whole lot of the game. It's looking a little bleak for them in this game. They might give up the second game to Genesis, which is exactly what Genesis wants. They lost that first game just barely in an overtime by a goal that really wasn't that great. So I think they're really excited to have this game, and it should make sure they have the fire.
Pluto did not clear that well out of goal, but Fireburner also whiffed the touch, and so neither team is going to be able to push that one in. Kind of just a bunch of confusion happening here in the corner. Final 30 seconds. Kings of Urban's right where they need to be. They were not able to put that one away, get on the board. They need 2 to force the overtime here if they want to be able to take this second game, go up 2-0 in the series. Moses passing up to the back wall. Here's Pluto with an easy dunk, not quite able to get the angle. Maybe not as easy as I said it would be. Pluto and Quinn both still up on the offense. Final countdown. They're trying to put just one more nail in this coffin to seal up game 2 for Genesis. Final countdown, though. I think at this point, they've run out of time. There's the 1 second. Oh, there's still a second on the board. It still is possible for Kings of Urban to tie this up.
They've given themselves a chance. They got a little over-aggressive, and I thought Genesis was going to sink one in, but then the counter happened where Genesis got too aggressive trying to put one in, knowing they had a 2-goal lead. There's a chance. It's slim. Knowing
it's going to happen,
they should know how to kill this ball. Yeah, I thought so.
Okay, cool. All right.
High-tier teams usually know how to take kickoffs pretty well. They're not very random at this point. You know, there are sometimes some surprises happen, but overall, people know how to make sure that they counter it right. They know how to ground the ball off kickoff, and generally, I wasn't expecting that to go anywhere but the ground.
And like we said, significantly stronger game for Genesis. They were able to convert, just like you said, convert from defense to offense much more quickly. So we only had 2 saves from Genesis this game, both coming from Moses, actually, compared to the 8 from the last game. So much, much stronger game overall, not allowing shots on net and keeping the pressure up on Kings of Urban's half.
When you're against a team as powerful as this, your #1 thing is to not allow them to play their game. Like, you don't want to let them do what they do best, and right now Genesis is doing a good job of that. But to be able to predict up like that and to actually turn your defense into offense so quickly, you need to trust your defender.
For sure.
And that's what they're doing well. One person's leaving like 2 guys on defense, and he's like, I know you guys have this, it's cool. I'm just going to wait up here. You know, like Quinn Lobdell is one of them that tends to wait up, which is great because then he passes it to the middle for a 3rd player to come in for those kind of like quick turnaround shots that KOU hasn't been able to stop as well as they can in the past.
Game number 3, we'll be moving on to Manfield. All of the sound makers, the vuvuzelas, the chants. It's a great stadium. Moses going to be pushing this one up. Wins the kickoff well. Fireburner whiffs on the defense. Is going to go off the backboard. If anyone can put this one away. Oh, man, an opportunity for Genesis blown here in the first minute. They're keeping the pressure up. Pluto taking a shot, but Jacob able to run the interference, keep that one out of goal.
Kickoff opportunities are tough because everyone, again, I've mentioned it many times, but they don't have the defense, or they don't have the boost they're looking for. Whoa, Cobb almost getting up for that second touch. But you generally don't have the boost you're looking for off kickoff, and your positions are just a little wonky. So while they did have a close opportunity, they just couldn't follow up.
See Kings of Urban keeping the offense strong on Genesis' half. Pluto hanging back in goal, letting Quinn try to push this one out. Now Pluto coming out from goal. As Moses makes the rotation, strong rotations. Going to be converting into offense here for Genesis. And Lobdell going to push that one under goal. Jacob clearing it out and keeping it away. First minute of gameplay has been pretty quiet on both sides. Moses going to be able to clear this one back up to midfield. Both teams not wanting to overcommit too much. They've both been burned from an overcommitted offense. There's Jacob with the bully, keeping that one out of goal, but there was no one able to put it away. Sad Jr. coming up from the back, sending it off the backboard. See if Fireburner can get into this one. Not quite. Quinn Lobdell able to keep that one out and away. Strong offensive opportunities here from Kings of Urban. They're keeping the pressure up, but they have just not been able to push it in all the way.
Kings of Urban is known for their bodying. They're known for their play, their aggressive physical plays. I mean, we've seen Jacob go for the goalie, I think, like 3 or 4 times already in like 3 games, and it's working pretty well. It always puts Genesis in a horrifying defensive option where they have to like dedicate somebody they don't want to. They have to go for a really wonky aerial, usually backwards or just kind of wild. But they're able to keep their composure, and Genesis has been dealing with it pretty well.
Seen some strong ping pong coming out from both teams, which just kind of means, you know, there's some strong clearing going on there. They're both reading each other well at a long range, keeping any offensive moments from either team from materializing. Here's Quinn with an opportunity, a shot on net, but Fireburner with all the time in the world able to clear that one onto the wall. Now he's going to try and win the drag race with Quinn. The ball going to be put back into the orange corner. Pluto coming out from goal, able to clear that one around as Moses rotates back into goal. Jacob keeping the pressure up. Now Moses comes out. Strong rotations from Genesis once again. We'll see if they're able to convert it onto offense this time.
Moses gets the dunk. And this is the kind of counter-attacking that I'm seeing. Both teams actually pulling up now, but they're not following up as quickly as they can. So like you said, there's not a whole lot of opportunities coming out of their pushes, but slowly but surely, I know this is going to get more aggressive.
Pluto, Quinn, both on defense, but neither in a great position. Pluto needs to push this one out fast. He's able to get it out and away. Moses is going to be pressing that one up and onto offense. There's a shot from Pluto. Is it on target? There it goes. First point going to Genesis.
Catching KOU off guard. They weren't able to rotate back. We saw Sad Jr., someone kind of going back on defense. Jacob tried to get in the way of that, but Pluto saw his opportunity. He placed it way, way further right than anyone is able to reach. It's the placement you see to these guys. It's subtle, and sometimes it's hard to notice. It's like, oh, they just took a shot at net, but the placement, they realize where they need to shoot it, and they shoot it exactly where it's going to go in.
Latest goal we've had yet in this series. Right as we're crossing halftime, Genesis with the 1-0 lead. Moses back in goal. Fireburner kind of feels backflip and is not going to be able to keep the pressure up. He's trying to keep the ball in that area, but Moses able to push it out. Great play, putting it over all the Kings of Urban's heads. We're going to try and get it over into goal, but no one there to finalize. Quinn keeping it on the backboard. We'll see where Pluto is. As Quinn's keeping this one live in the corner. There's Pluto coming up from the backfield. It's going to be up and on the wall. The ball's spending a lot of time in the corner, but just not crossing goal, not giving them any shot opportunities. Here comes one off the backboard, but Jacob with the interference, carrying it all the way to the other corner. Great plays from Jacob there. Pluto trying to run some interference, keep them from converting quickly. But we see Kings of Urban back on offense now. Here's an opportunity. Quinn pushing it over onto the wall, taking that moment away. Great defense coming out from Genesis. Oh, Pluto with the field side flip. That was not what he meant to do, but Moses had his back. He's going to be able to clear that one out.
That could have been scary, but luckily Kings of Urban actually never expects Pluto to do that, so he didn't have to pay for it. But you mentioned a bit how sometimes it stays in the corner for a bit, and sometimes people do that deliberately. They'll just stay in the corner and fight for it, just kind of stop any clears. It almost like resets the play.
For sure.
From like, I almost want to say from like everyone can kind of get in the position they want, and now all of a sudden everyone's going to be. Oh!
Win with the bully on Sad Jr., taking him out of the way and putting him up by 2.
I can't tell if this was intentional or not. He got the touch he needed. He tried to follow through. I think he might have gone for the shot, and he just hit Sad instead. Yeah, he took the miss, and then he just slammed
but
into
it worked.
Sad.
Oh my goodness, what a crazy play.
To be fair, Sad was not in a good place to take that save. He probably should have gone to net and turn around. He got a little cocky thinking he could maybe had some time for it. But again, mistakes sometimes work in their favor, and that puts them up 2-0.
1:13 left to go. Kings of Urban still yet to get on the board here. Game number 2, I believe they didn't quite get shut out. They got a kind of goal at the 1 second mark last game. But other than that, they got shut out last game as well. Genesis showing up very strong. Here's Sad Jr. shooting off the backboard, trying to get his team on the board. Final minute of gameplay. Pluto just kind of whiffs on the wall there, leaves it for Moses, who's going to be pushing this one up and into the corner. Pluto's probably rotated to get some boost, but there's a ball lofted well. Sad Jr. able to clear it onto the far wall. Final 45 seconds. Kings of Urban still down by 2. Pluto threatening. Fireburner able to get the carries. Great solo dribbles from Fireburner, but interference going to push it over onto the far wall. Below that moment, there's a shot from Quinn. Sad Jr. able to push that one out. Final 30 seconds coming up right now. There's Jacob with a shot. Can anyone put this one away? No, the interference from Quinn Lobdell. The midfield interference from Genesis has been so strong this game.
That's exactly what they have to do, especially with a minute left being up by 2. You really just want to send one player up there to just get in the way, just constantly annoy them, stop them from making their passing plays or their shots. And they're keeping 1, maybe 2 guys back on defense and just sending 1 guy up to bully everything out of the way, which is exactly what they need to do.
Moses able to put another one away there, just seal the deal here for Genesis in game number 3. They're going to be going up in the series as long as they just, no magic happens here in the last 10 seconds. Great pass there, able to put that one up and away.
I don't really count these for much. I mean,
sure.
when you're last 20 seconds, teams tend to play so different when you need to make a goal. And
right.
They were 2 down with 20 seconds left. They're going to get aggressive, and there's a good chance they're going to get scored on again. But you take the risk, you take the chance, because no matter what, being down by 2 or being down by 1, you're going to lose either way. So they wanted to just do their best, and that's why they conceded that 3rd goal.
It's like Kings of Urban wanted to put just one more on the board just for their stats there, but it's not going to matter at this point. Game number 3 going to Genesis, and they go up by 1 in the series. Great, strong game from Genesis there.
This is exactly what I expected Genesis to do. They lost that first game just barely. It wasn't anything that they should have felt defeated about. It was an overtime kind of defensive mistake, and now we're seeing them take control. We're seeing them control these games. They're up in the series now, 2-1 against Kings of Urban, which was the favored team. I think a lot of people expected Kings of Urban to come out a little bit stronger. And they're not coming out weak at all. Genesis is just coming out stronger. They're keeping control. They're making the passing plays. They're reading each other. And trust is, from what I can tell, is a very big part of what they're doing right now.
Yeah, this is what the finals is all about. You got the top 4 teams. Such strong play coming out from both squads. We saw it with iBuyPower and Vex. Now we're seeing it with Kings of Urban and Genesis. I'm really excited moving forward. Who's a player on Kings of Urban that you think that we want to watch here moving forward into game number 4?
Jacob has shown a lot of promise in these last few weeks. He's been doing really well. We've seen some really good shots coming out of him. I casted a Rocket Royale a little earlier, and he had something insane from the top, like way up in the corner.
Sure. Really
good angle. He tends to kind of command, but I can't say anything different about Sad Jr. because he had an even crazier shot about 3 days later. Sad Jr.'s always been such a great player. I can't even pick, honestly. All of them.
Game number 4. We're moving onto the lovely Beckwith Stadium here, or Beckwith Park. I wouldn't call this a stadium just yet. Maybe it'll grow up someday. Quinn gonna push it over into the corner. Fireburner, last man on defense. Fireburner seems to commonly be the last man of defense from Kings of Urban. You see Jacob kind of whiffing on the wall. Sad Jr. able to push that one out. But definitely a quieter start to the game. We've seen the teams have cooled down a little bit as the series have gone on. We've had some really aggressive goals right off the bat. I think both teams were ahead, scored 1 goal by now in game number 1. Our last game, we only had the first goal happen around halftime. So yeah, the team's kind of cooling down a little bit.
Well, now Genesis knows that they're up in this series. They have clearly the skill to do it, and I think they came into this knowing they did. And Kings of Urban's going to be playing a little more hectic. So if Genesis can just sit back and let Kings of Urban kind of maybe get a little too scared or get a little too aggressive and take advantage of it, that's what they need to do. And that's how I think they're going to be able to take the series.
First minute of gameplay is going to expire here in 9 seconds. Fireburner taking the shot, but Moses and Pluto both back on defense, able to push that one out. Sad Jr. playing off the wall, well done, trying to keep the offensive going. But here comes Genesis pushing into Kings of Urban's half. Fireburner again, last man back, able to push this one out, carrying it by himself, but can't quite get it past the last defender on Genesis. We're going to see the ball stay on the blue.
Keeping under pressure is what you want to do. They saw it. Granted, they knew Sad Jr. was going to make it to net. They forced him to go there. They forced him to make the save, which might have been able to keep the aggression up. And they're still keeping control. Kings of Urban is kind of having to give the ball away by these hard clears.
Oh, look at this passing coming out from Quinn and Pluto. Just playing it around. Can't quite get it in there. All 3 players back on defense. There's Moses going to try and push it up and in. But man, that was some great aerial passing.
That's exactly what they need to keep up, and they've been doing it so well. Genesis have been reading each other. I told you that Quinn and Pluto, all of them pretty much have been cheating up, reading each other well. They tend to send one guy up on pre-offense, I guess, if I had to call it something, to get ready for the attack.
3:13 left to go. Still scoreless here at Beckwith. Sad Jr. and Moses pushing up into the offense, trying to get into Genesis's territory, pushing it around the back wall. Pluto coming out of goal, able to push it back out. Now Quinn going to take up ball control. Gets loose though and kind of lands awkwardly on the wall and is not going to be able to continue to push. So Jacob picks up ball control, sending it onto the back wall again. Pluto, last man back on defense as usual for Genesis, trying to kind of get this clear here. That ball came in close from Sad Jr., but not going to quite go in.
The placement on some of these touches, I really like to see. Jacob had an opportunity for net, and he realized that there was no point. So he put it to the corner instead, which slowed the play down. They don't have a counter play. They don't have the angle to just instantly counter clear it, which is what Genesis has been doing well to them. So KOU's adjusting to what they need to do, and it's going to be pretty scary for Genesis if they let them keep control.
We have crossed halftime, and we are still scoreless. Sad Jr. trying to push this one out of his own half. Quinn with a great setup, but Pluto not able to finish it. Ball at midfield. Fireburner and Pluto kind of just bullying each other out of the way of that ball. That will leave Pluto with ball control. He's just got to get it past Jacob, but Jacob not going to have it. Sends it into the corner.
Pluto should have waited maybe a little bit longer, but again, those one-on-one opportunities, he probably heard someone coming up on his back end, which somebody most definitely was sneaking up behind him, trying to stop him from the dribble opportunity. But again, he forced Jacob into a bad place, forced Jacob to make the block, which has given them even longer control in the KOU half.
Oh dear, Quinn and Pluto kind of tangled up on top of each other there. Jacob able to clear it into the corner. Moses back in goal, going to try and push this one out of his own half. Gets it past Fireburner, well done. Now Sad Jr. back on defense, going to keep that ball in the corner, buy his teammates time to rotate. Ball still lofted in the blue area. There's Jacob going to put it off the wall. Fireburner coming out from goal, going to try and convert, but not able to get there as Moses beats him to it. Ball staying in Kings of Urban's half. Jacob back in goals. Quinn's going to wrap this one around. Sad Jr. on the wall, keeping that out. There's been some really strong defense from both teams. No one really committing, but there's Sad Jr. with the shot, and they're going to go up.
I was about to say both teams being pretty timid. It's been so far in the game, and there's no goal, so it's just a matter of time before somebody sinks one in. Sad Jr. saw his opportunity. He puts the placement hard. Pluto and Moses not prepared for the hard shot. I think they were looking at maybe Jacob. I don't know what was going on. I'm surprised no one came to contest that. But, you know, we haven't really iterated it today, but you need to contest those balls that are anywhere near that front half. You just need to force them into a shot earlier than they want. You can't give them the time to line it up.
Final minute of gameplay approaching here. You see Kings of Urban with 1 point up. You see Genesis convert and create some offense. If they want to force overtime or take this game number 4, we might have a tie series if nothing changes at this point. Quinn with a great save, pushing that one out. Final minute of gameplay. Jacob going to back pass to Sad Jr., who pushes up. Jacob going up to try and get this one, but the ball was a little bit harder touch than he was expecting. Bounced off the ceiling, not going to happen. 52 seconds left now as the ball is still staying in the Genesis half. Pluto trying to push this one out, create some opportunities. He and Quinn both coming up on the wall, but Jacob able to get it between them, sending it back off of the backboard. They have another opportunity to increase their lead. Pluto keeping that ball from crossing the goal at all. Now he's going to push it out here. Great clear from Pluto, but Fireburner reading it well, sending it into his far corner.
KOU needs to make sure that they're 1 goal up. They need to keep their defenses up.
So
they need to make sure they keep somebody back, or things like that may sneak in. Genesis is going to be hyper-aggressive right now with 20 seconds left and 1 goal to go.
Fireburner keeping that pressure up. There's the pass from Quinn to Moses. Can he get there? Not quite. Jacob beats him to it. Final 13 seconds. It's do or die time for Genesis. Pluto going to pass it on to the far wall. There's Moses going to go off the backboard. No one really there unless Moses can get it back up and into it. He's not going to get the touch. Sad Jr. with a run on the goal is going to be able to get a goal in garbage time. We're going to have 1 second left on the board, but at this point, the game is going to be Kings of Urban's.
If you had to ask me, that goal probably doesn't really count as far as the way that the game was going. Like, yes, they sunk it in, but we just talked about the last game. You're going to be over-aggressive when you're a goal down with 5 seconds left.
Yeah, no, if it does, it seals the deal. But at this point, if he had just let the ball stay on the ground instead of going in, that would have been the end of the game. There's the final moment. Ball still lofted. Players adhering to the rule of Rocket League that once the clock hits 0, you don't let the ball touch the ground. But that's game number 4 in the books, and the series is all tied up at 2-2.
That was actually, you know, Pluto, you can tell he actually, they could have maybe tried to sink one more in, but he deliberately grounded it. He just wants to get on to the next game.
Right.
And this is what I was hoping that all the teams would be into. Like, just let's do it.
Right.
They tied it up. This game is exactly what I expected. Neck and neck. They're both showing promise. They're both doing everything they can. I mean, I'm not surprised by anything that's happening right now. They're just about 1 goal down, maybe 2 before the very, very end when something changes. But either way, I mean, both teams coming out swinging.
Yeah, coming out so strong in these games. It's been so even back and forth. Yeah, like I said at the beginning of the game, it's gotten a little bit calmer as we've gotten on. You know, this has been definitely the quietest game we've had so far, with just 3 saves total, only 5 shots from Kings of Urban in this game, and it only resulted in 2 goals, which only, you know, one of them was kind of just a garbage time goal anyway. Yeah. So it's been a little bit quieter. I'm going to look forward to seeing them hopefully ramping up as they're moving forward, but we'll be getting game 5 here in just a second.
Really early on in the series, they both realized what they were in for when both teams came out. They won they swapped the first 2 games. They came out so strong. So now I think both are you know, trying to now almost prepare for each other before they get their aggression on. So it could result in some interesting tactics.
The environment that this Rocket League world happens in is kind of crazy, because a storm has broken out in the last 30 seconds here on Beckwith. We see Moses pushing this up and onto the Kings of Urban half. Fireburner trying to push that out. There's Pluto putting that one onto the net. Not going to quite get there. And then we're going to see them continuing the pressure. Good pressure from Genesis. Some good defense from Kings of Urban. And now they're going to be pushing out onto offense.
Not a whole lot comes out early on in these games. Every now and then you see a squeaking goal just kind of sneak its way in. But, you know, they're playing a little safer now. Oh, the demo coming out, stopping the aggression very early on. But you got to, you know, these teams, they make sure that they're in control of it. And as soon as they lose control, that's when things get a little hairy.
We're going to see the Kings of Urban continuing their offense here, but just no one really up with Sad Jr. I'm not quite sure what he's doing at this point. Quinn Lobdell able to kind of push this one out. Not going to get there. 4:16 left to go. Still a quiet game, just like we had last time. For Fireburners, pass it to Sad Jr. is going to try and push it down if anyone can get there. Not quite there on this one. Now Quinn going to try and press this one back up out of his own half. Pluto coming out from goal, going to miss that one. Nice read from Jacob, pushing that one into the corner, but just not going to materialize into any offense.
We just saw Sad Jr. kind of up on that back wall, absorbing the touch, slowing it down off the backboard. And, you know, some people might think like, well, why would he do that if it's already going to bounce off the backboard? But what he's doing is he's altering, and he's actually kind of,
oh man, not going to be able to clear that one. That's kind of an uncharacteristic poor clear from Genesis.
Jacob put it on target. He saw it. Quinn just a little bit short. Pluto might have had it. Moses just a little bit short, not the power. Either way, I mean, that's not the kind of saves they want to have to make, coming in from the side, you know, flying off the side wall, trying to make sure you get there just in time, making your timing perfectly. I think Quinn got there a little slower than he thought, or he was a little caught off guard by how quick Jacob made it.
Pluto passing to Moses. Great play there. It goes in. My goodness, this pass play so quick and so strong on Genesis, tying it up.
They are not wasting any time to put themselves back in the game. Pluto using his second jump to put himself just under the ball because he didn't have time to actually make it. Utilizing that so well, putting it over to Moses. Moses knowing, again, with the trust, knowing his teammate was going to be there, putting themselves back in the game within seconds.
Tied up here with 3:35 left to go. Pluto going to pass that one back up and over. He gets it over Fireburner's head. Quinn has kind of an open goal. Sad Jr. had rotated. There's the shot, and can they put it away? Moses going to dunk it in.
Quinn sucked Sad Jr. into that. He waited for the touch. He waited and he waited till last second. He could have made it right here off that bounce. He waited. Sad Jr. didn't know what he was going to do, so he put it up as high as he could. He waited till the gap was too close for Sad Jr. to react soon enough. And even though he didn't put it on target, Moses knew he had to come in for the opportunity, and they were able to sink in another goal within maybe another 15, 20 seconds.
Genesis is tired of the slow gameplay and has ramped it up here in the last minute. Here's another shot from Pluto. Fireburner coming from the corner, able to push that one out and away, pick up ball control, give it over to Jacob. Now some nice passing coming out from Kings of Urban, pushing this one back up and into Genesis's half. Quinn Lobdell's going to whiff on that touch, and Pluto going to be able to pass it up. Quinn passing it back down to Pluto. Great team plays coming out here from Genesis, but not able to quite finish it off there as Fireburner had their number in goal.
They're getting their passing in a little bit more now that the game's ramping up. And both teams, I mean, whoever wins this is going to be one away from taking the series. They're tied right now at 2-2. Whoever wins this game is going to come into the last game just so ready to take the series, just one game away. It always puts your head in such a great place. So I think this game could be the turning point of whoever takes it.
Fireburner and Jacob up on offense for Kings of Urban, trying to create an opportunity for a shot, not able to get that one around. Kind of some poor touches on all sides. 4 players stacked up in that orange corner. Pluto comes out of the mess with the ball control. He's going to try and get it past Jacob, but Jacob able to get up and in that ball, push it out and away, keep this lead on Genesis from increasing.
The dribble control from Pluto, getting that flick as high as he can. Sadly for Pluto, but good for Jacob. He put himself in a position to kind of be ready for any flick Pluto made. But again, a lot of times you just kind of want to force their defender to have to go there. So you're taking a player out of the play, their rotations get a little sloppy, and you can keep the aggression on, which Genesis has still had since that touch.
We're past halftime, still a 1-point lead on Genesis's side. Fireburner sending that one up and into Genesis's half. Pluto and Quinn. Quinn spawning in there, kind of in an inconvenient spot. Going to run some interference for Pluto, but the ball going to end up on Kings of Urban's half. Sad Jr. able to push it back. It's a shot on net. Someone needs to get into this one. Quinn Lobdell going for the Spider-Man save, keeping that one out.
Getting really close. Moses might have a...
He took his time.
Wasn't a bad idea on his part, forcing Fireburner into the net. But look at the rotations on defense for both these teams. They're getting into net quickly, turning around, getting prepared for the shots. You know, there's a few that have snuck in.
Oh, great hit from Pluto. Jacob with the amazing save, getting himself the Savior medal. Excellent stuff. There's a follow-up from Moses, but it goes just wide. Such strong offense from Genesis right now.
Genesis is making sure that they're forcing KU into defense so that they can't turn around into offense. I mean, I know I'm a broken record at this point, but they keep doing it over and over and over again, and the consistency is key right now. They're able to keep control of this game, but defensive rotations on both teams are still very solid.
Pluto with ball control, sending it into Kings of Urban's corner. He's going to try and set this one up for his teammates. There's a nice cross, but it goes a little high. Now Fireburner in the corner as well. Moses comes up from the backfield, wrapping that one around. Final minute of gameplay. Here's another shot from Quinn. Great save from Fireburner, getting himself a Savior medal as well. That means there's at least 6 saves from this Kings of Urban squad. They've been playing a lot more defense than they really would want to be doing at this point in the series. Jacob going to try and set this one up. 45 seconds. They need one more just to force overtime. There's a great setup from Sad Jr., but no one able to capitalize and put it away. Now we're going to see Genesis back on offense. Fireburner running some interference, but interference isn't going to win them the game. They need to score.
We've heard Gibbs talk about this. I know I've talked about it plenty of times. When you're on defense, you don't want to block shots, you want to prevent shots. And it seems like KOU right now is forcing themselves into blocking situations. They're letting Genesis make their passing plays. They're giving them a little bit of room. They're not closing that gap between the ball and the player, and they're letting the shots come on their goal, which is why they have 6 saves. You don't want to have to have that many.
Final 10 seconds. 10 Kings of Urban need one right now. They have an opportunity. They're up on offense. Jacob setting that one up. Sad Jr.'s in a position where he can get it, but Moses is going to beat him to it. Ball's kind of on net. Jacob able to push that one over to the corner. Final moments, and there it goes. We're going to see Genesis taking the lead in the series again.
Genesis is coming out as strong as they possibly could, and this is as close as I was hoping. Kings of Urban is not giving this up easy, but at the same time, there's just a minor mistake. They were a little too slow that game for comfort, and they better make sure they pick it up the next game, or it's not going to look too good for them the next game. 7
saves from Kings of Urban. They're playing a lot of very strong defense, but just as you were saying at the end of the game, that's not what they want to be doing. They want to be preventing shots, not having to save them.
You don't want to have to make that many saves in any game. That means there were 7 shots that were close enough to net to register as a shot on goal. You know, generally sometimes you can hit the post and it counts as well, but knowing these guys, most of the shots are pretty accurate, so I'd say probably 80% of those shots were on target, which means there were that many, like at least 4 to 5 goals they had to prevent.
Right. Well, you had 15 shots from Genesis. That is maybe the most in the series so far. That's an insane number.
That is, I don't know if I've actually seen that yet so far. I definitely haven't kept track of every single one of them, but 15 shots just shows they have that offensive possession. They're keeping control. They're not, you know, and people might be a little disappointed, like, why isn't Kings of Urban doing what they do best? All the crazy aerials, all the touches, but they're not being allowed to. And Genesis knows that, and like, they're not letting them do anything.
Yeah, the midfield defense coming up strong from Genesis. Moving here into Game 5, they have a no, that was Game 5. This is Game 6 now. We have a 1-game lead from the side of Genesis. Well done, and it is nighttime. I don't know how that happened, but it's nighttime now. Jacob going to push this one up and over. Pluto and Moses. I like that one. That's what Leaf would say. Call him Moses, right? Moses going to try and push this one out and away, back up to midfield. Not going to quite get the touch he was looking for. Pluto and Quinn. A little bit of confusion there as Pluto was supposed to go up for that one. Fireburner now with an opportunity, sending it on to net, but Moses able to get the save and push it out.
Pluto probably shouldn't have gone for that touch. Quinn had plenty of time for it. He had the opportunity. He had good power on it, and Pluto, you know, maybe getting a little freaked out, tried to go for the backwards touch, which, you know, if he was last man on defense, would have been decent. But right now, Genesis is stuck in some tight defensive situations, but they look comfortable. None of these saves have had to be anything terrifying. They're there in the way, they're preventing the shots, and they're doing what KOU needs to start doing for the rest of this game.
Now, Sad Jr. with some heads-up plays there, getting the demo and then going straight for the goalie, but none of his teammates were able to follow up. We still see a scoreless game. Jacob sets that one up well, but oh man, he gets another touch on it. Kind of ruined the shot for Fireburner. Not going to materialize right there. Still scoreless as we cross over into the 4th minute of the game. Quinn trying to push this one out. Now going to be able to push that one out and away back onto Kings of Urban's half. Moses back on goal. Pluto going to rotate. He's going to get ball control here, push it back out and away. Not the best of touches coming out from Genesis right now, but they haven't been hurt just yet. Moses in goal to try and push that one out. Now Quinn's going to push it. A little bit of confusion on defense from Genesis at the moment, but so far we're still scoreless with 3:38 left to go.
Just so you guys understand, if Genesis are to take this game, that will be it. They will take this, and KOU will be into the 3rd place game, which is not what anyone would expect. They are up in the series right now. KOU really has to kick in the high gear. They have to win the next 2 games in succession to make sure they take the series.
This is match point for Genesis, and if they do, they will be into the top 2. They will be one of the top 2 teams. They will auto-qualify the next group stages. Well done. There's a shot from Quinn. Great save from Fireburner, keeping that one out. Now Pluto going to try and keep the offensive pressure going. Strong plays here from Genesis, keeping this ball in the Kings of Urban half. There's Moses wrapping it around. Here's Quinn. Can he put it away?
Oh!
He does. Well done.
Quinn read that so well. Thank God. I'm so happy we were actually able to watch his mentality here. He sees Moses put it up. All of a sudden, he realizes he has the opportunity. He goes up for it. Fireburner thought the shot was going to actually come dead on from the net.
Right.
Quinn puts it to the side instead. A nice gentle shot around the defender. Quinn read that so well, he knew exactly where he needed to be.
Excellent plays from Genesis. Right here, coming up on halftime. They have a 1-0 lead. Game number 6. Match point for Genesis. This is do or die time for Kings of Urban. They do have to take the next 2 games if they want to be able to take it. Sad Jr. setting that one up. Well done, but not quite going to be able to touch, and Jacob able to clear it over into the corner. Now Pluto keeping the pressure up. Such strong offensive pressure from Genesis.
KOU is getting a little antsy. They're coming in a net a little too soon. They're not letting their defense turn into offense like slowly enough. They're kind of rushing it.
Sure.
So they're not keeping control. They're getting contested, and they have
Almost
nobody back in
setup.
net like
Pluto
this.
able to put it away. Excellent stuff. They go up by 2.
Conceding another goal just about halfway through the game. It's 2-0. Again, Jacob had to take that from a bad touch, and Moses contested that just perfectly enough. He flips his car upside down, make sure he hits it with the front so that he beats the power out on the defender, sets it up in front of goal, and no one was there.
Just across halftime, we see Kings of Urban in a 2-0 deficit. They've been here 2 times already, I believe, this series. We'll see if they are able to clean it up. There's Sad Jr. He's going to start it off right there and get on the board.
Don't think Pluto expected his net to be empty. He kind of placed that directly in. Quinn went up for it. It looked like it took Moses a little bit too long to rotate back. He wasn't able to grab boost. I think the side boost he went for had not responded yet from kickoff. He mistimed it just a little bit. You know, just so everybody knows, like, these players know when most of the time when these boosts are responding, you have an idea for it. The timing is kind of ingrained in your head. You don't really need to count out loud, but you just kind of know. You kind of feel it by this point. But a little misprediction by Moses on when that boost is going to respond.
2:10 left to go. Kings of Urban only down by 1. Their tournament hopes on the line at this point if they're wanting to move on to the top 2. Pluto going to be able to clear that one into the corner. Quinn Lobdell back in goal. Going to be able to try and follow this one up. He gets it a little bit out of position, and now Jacob with an opportunity to put it in and tie it up.
Tying it up so quickly. I'm kind of surprised. Genesis needed to play a little bit safer. Pluto went up on the wall to try and say that a bump from Jacob to Quinn, but still, Moses wasn't back. I think he went for boost again. He's got to be careful when he does that.
It was a really interesting play there because Quinn pushed out a goal, then realized he was out of position, tried to move back, but Jacob was behind him and able to bully him out of the way and give himself an opportunity. Excellent plays there from Jacob, tying the game up. Now we have 1:50 left to go. Even all. Fireburner trying to push this one out of his own half. Moses is going to run off the ceiling there. Interesting play. That shot is onto the net, just up to the top. Pluto with a great save. Jacob going to keep the pressure up. Quinn going to push that one out. Excellent plays there from both sides. Kings of Urban forcing the strong defensive plays from Genesis. Pluto keeping that one in the corner, giving his teammates time to get positioned well. Quinn Lobdell setting that one up again. Now the ball lofted in midfield. Sad Jr. coming from the back, able to keep the pressure up. Kings of Urban with a great offensive right now. Here's Fireburner with a shot. Not going to go in those. Quinn Lobdell able to clear it away.
KU's doing a good job of keeping the pressure in Genesis's half. They're kind of having somebody, that third player, lurk back in that midfield, in that midline, kind of getting ready for a clear to kind of push it back in, and they've done so for about 40 seconds. It's been in Genesis half, just very scarily getting close to net with only a minute left in a tie game.
Quinn Lobdell doing a great job clearing the ball out of his own half, but they've not been able to convert it on offense just yet. Final minute of gameplay. There's Sad Jr. with a shot to take the lead.
With a minute left, this is exactly what they needed to do. I didn't really understand why no one went up for this. Quinn tried to get it off the wall. He wasn't there. Pluto and Moses, I think, maybe over-trusted that a little bit. They thought Quinn was going to get the touch. He was just short of it, and no one was prepared for that bounce off the back wall.
Right.
They didn't get up quick enough to contest it.
Pluto able to send that one on to the side. Final minute of gameplay. Genesis find themselves in a 1-point hole. They do need to pull out here to get the win. They need to be able to tie it up. 45 seconds left. Moses to Quinn. Put that one up and around. It's back in midfield. Fireburner keeping the pressure up. Strong pressure from Kings of Urban here. Game number 6. Trying to force the game 7, the critical game 7. Moses with the ball. Oh my goodness, can Quinn put it in? He does! Oh! He ties it up with 30 seconds left to go.
This was, Jacob got back just in time. He almost didn't make it. Quinn was going to take the shot. Jacob read it well and pushed it to the corner. But Moses, why was Moses there? I guess thought Quinn was going to push it through, and that was an insane read by him. He was there to just keep it in, making sure Jacob couldn't clear it. And the third player, Pluto, was able to come in and sink it. My God.
33 seconds left. 30 seconds left in this game. Genesis has the ability to put it away all right now. If they can just put one more in. Pluto whiffing on that touch. Those whiffs have been plaguing both teams all series. Jacob keeping this one up and alive, trying to send it off the wall. Not getting the setup he wants. Moses able to press that one back into Kings of Urban territory, but Sad Jr. with no pressure able to clear it very well. Pluto in goal. He's going to touch here. Sends it into the corner. Final countdown. Anyone can score. Fireburner's in and off the back wall. Not going to get the touch there. And we'll see if this ball touches the ground. We'll have overtime, but Jacob's going to try and finish it right now. Not quite getting there. There's Sad Jr. off the back. Man, a lot of volleyball right now. If they could just let it touch the ground, or oh, there we go. Okay, overtime.
Genesis wanted that. They wanted to put it into overtime. They're already one game up in this series. They want to start this from scratch. They want to make a set piece out of themselves. They didn't, again, that was kind of a turnaround with Kings of Urban having control. So I'm sure they kind of wanted the overtime to start.
Moses able to push it up to midfield. No one back in goal. If we can see Genesis pressing the offensive here, there's Quinn setting that one into the corner, but gave them all the time they needed. Jacob now back on defense. No one really in a great, strong position, though, for Kings of Urban. Pluto with an opportunity if he can just get around Sad Jr., but Sad Jr. able to clear it well, push it back into the other half. Quinn sending it up to midfield. There's Fireburner with the read. Excellent read, but Pluto, he tried to go for a second read. Fireburner couldn't quite get there. Quinn with an opportunity, not able to get the shot. Jacob, Sad Jr. both back on the defense, trying to rotate here. The ball's going to go off the backboard. Fireburner in a good position to clear it out in the way. Doesn't get a strong clear, but Quinn wasn't able to get a shot either. Trying to set it up here. There goes Pluto. Not quite, but my goodness, such an intense overtime we got going on right now.
I was so scared that was going to be an own goal that came off that top corner. Jacob's going to try and take it out!
My goodness, I think you might have just called the own goal. I'm not sure. Oh, we have to watch it again.
All I know is that this is what they need. They tied it up last second. Jacob tried to put it in. Oh, I think that might have been a double pinch. That was so fast, 175 kilometers per hour. I don't know if I've ever seen anything that fast.
I've seen one, just one though. That's the second fastest I've ever seen. Holy cow, that was incredible. And what a way for Kings of Urban to keep their tournament hopes alive right now. We're going to game 7.
We're going to game 7. That is so what they wanted to do.
Oh, yes.
I should have been able to know what happened right there, but that was so fast I need a slow motion of that. I have literally no idea who actually put that in or why. I think it was a self-defensive pinch from what I could see that just went in the wrong direction. KU brought that pressure exactly when they needed it, but it took them a little while. The passing plays that we saw at game 1 from them, we haven't seen, and same with Genesis at a game 2. But, those first 2 games, they really shined. And now I think they're both a little timid to give games up. And we're tied in the series. This game is it.
This is it.
They brought it to the 7th game. This is it.
And how do you think that Genesis is going to feel moving forward? They were so close. They had a 2-0 lead at one point. They then pulled it up to a 1-point lead after Kings of Urban was able to come back and into it, and then force the overtime. They've been so close to putting this away so many times. How does that affect your mentality moving here into game 7?
I'm a little upset because they could have actually sank this series already probably about 2 or 3 games ago when they had those extra 2 2 losses in overtime. They're 1 away. They were so close from actually just, they tasted it. They tasted the victory.
It was so close.
It
was
so
at their
close.
fingertips.
It was right there. They
right
almost
on the tip of their tongue.
They almost had it. So they're going to be a little upset, but knowing they kind of came in here as the public underdog, most people expected KOU to take this pretty easily. I think they still have really high heads right now.
Game 7 all comes down to this for Genesis to prove themselves against the team that put them in the poor position here in the preseason. They have an opportunity to prove it right now. But they are not going to be put quietly into the night trying to push this one out. Game number 7. We have the winners bracket semifinals. Will be over after this in 4 minutes and 40 seconds or overtime. We've seen overtime twice between these two teams already.
Both accurate.
So yeah, Mike, yeah, 2 games, 2 teams, all of the above. Wonderful stuff. We'll see what they're able to do right now. Kings of Urban on the defense. So we see Genesis trying to press that one up and in there. Sad Jr. with a great save, clearing that one out and away. Pluto coming up from the backfield, trying to keep the pressure going, but misses. Now Quinn putting that one up and over into the Kings of Urban half. Great pressure coming out from Genesis, but just not able to kind of finish it off right now. We're going to have them back on defense. Oh, Fireburner with an opportunity. He's going to be able to ball it. He's going to roll in eventually. There he goes.
This was just so close. They almost had it on defense. Looks like Quinn tried to clear it out, and then Pluto tried to follow up. He was just a little bit short. I think Pluto put it a little too far out, or the other way around. Quinn put a little too far for Pluto to reach. You got to be careful when you're coming out of the corners on your own half. A lot of times you just kind of want to let it slide, roll towards net, and even if they're going to contest it, you got to be careful about where you place it in your own defensive half.
4 minutes left. Kings of Urban up by 1. Quinn back passing to Moses, who has an opportunity. Sad Jr. shuts him down. Now Jacob trying to press that one up. He's going to miss. Quinn going to pass up again. Fireburner keeping the mid-range defense strong. Pluto reading it so well. Great aerial reads coming out from both sides. Moses going to try and bounce this one around. Sad Jr. able to get that one. Quinn keeping the pressure up. It's going to cross in front of the goal. With no one there to quite dunk it away. Quinn bullies Fireburner in goal. It's an opportunity. Moses sets it up. Oh, there's Pluto coming up from the backfield. No one quite in the greatest of dunk positions, but you know, they're just, like you said beforehand, they're both, neither team wants to give this up. They both want to play strong defense and hope for just the offensive counter plays, maybe push it out here. We'll see what they can do. 3:20 left to go. Genesis hasn't gotten on the board just yet.
They're trying to break down each other's defense and just wait for the mistake. It's happened enough in this series where I think they're all just kind of hoping for it. They're pushing enough shots on goal. They might not be the strongest shots or the best opportunities, but again, it's forcing them to do a defensive rotation. And your best bet is maybe to hope for a defensive hiccup. But right now, Genesis needs to get a goal, and so they need to make a great opportunity.
Pluto trying to set it up for his team. Now Quinn pushing it off the back wall. Fireburner coming out from goal. Great read, able to put it back and into the orange territory. Pluto going to try and clear that one out and away. Fireburner falling back, is going to try and convert and cut on this one. Doesn't get the touch and decides to bail. Let Sad Jr. take the touch. But Pluto going to whiff that one, setting it up for Quinn. Kind of an interesting fake from Pluto. The shot went just over the bar, though. Is not going to be able to be there. Fireburner able to push it back out and around. Now Moses trying to set this one up. We're crossing halftime here. Genesis still has yet to score, but this is not for lack of trying.
Now, the teams have been having long offensive drives. They'll get 1-2 touches, and that third player's a little too scared to come out of defense, which is justified in this situation because both these teams are good at turning defense into a quick offensive shot opportunity. But at the same time, right now, especially in Genesis's location, they need to keep their offensive rotations tight, and they need to keep the shots coming.
The mind games from Genesis coming up strong. Quinn and Pluto trying to confuse Kings of Urban. But with 2 minutes left, they still have yet to score. Now Pluto with ball control, going to try and win the 1v1s. Fireburner reads him well. Moses with an opportunity, sending it off the backboard, but Jacob able to clear it into the corner. Keep the shot from materializing. Pluto going to try and get another setup. Sad Jr. on the wall. You know that this Kings of Urban team is going to be a bit starved for boost at this point. They've been up in the air quite a bit and have not been able to get out of goal, but a little bit of a lack of pressure from Genesis going to give Kings of Urban the ability to push back out and reset on defense, and now they're able to convert it into offense.
They've still got plenty of time left. This game is for it. I want to see both these teams just kind of turning on the fire, but I also don't blame KOU for sitting on their win so far. They have their one up. They're in the lead. They're going to sit a little bit on it, but they might be
a shot. Pluto with the save, keeping Fireburner shot out. No, my goodness, everybody kind of just ballerina in front of the goal. There's a big pile of Genesis cars. They're finally able to push it out. I'm surprised that didn't turn into another goal. Moses with an opportunity. Fireburner did kind of a sloppy clear there. They had the opportunity to tie it up there. They're keeping the pressure up. This is strong, but Fireburner to Jacob, and he has an open net. They're going to go up by 2.
Genesis had to get aggressive, and that's why this goal went in. They overcommit. They had almost no choice. Pluto did beat Jacob to that ball, but it wasn't enough because he had no one to follow up, and Fireburner was able to pass it off to Jacob, who waited up for the shot, able to redirect it in. This is not good.
Final minute of gameplay. Genesis has been down by 2 before. See if they're able to pull it back up here in game number 7. Fireburner keeping the pressure up. Pluto going to come around him and keep that out and away. Get it cross back into Kings of Urban's territory. Sad Jr. last man back on defense. It's kind of a sloppy touch there. Pluto's not able to finish it though. Keep that one up and away. Now Moses trying to keep that ball into the corner, but he wasn't able to get the touch he was looking for. Quinn going to keep that one out. Not really going in either direction right now. I'm just keep waiting for them to materialize this into a strong offensive moment, but the defense from Kings of Urban has been so strong. The ball's just rolling, just breaking away to the enemy goal. If Moses can get in the way of that one, not quite. You saw the commitment from Genesis, trying to make something happen. They're gonna get punished for it.
They try to KO you, just all sat back. They all sat back on defense, and when you have Jacob and Fireburner and, Sad Jr. all sitting back on defense, it's going to be hard to make opportunities because they didn't need to put any more shots on, so they weren't trying to turn defense into offense. They were just trying to stop opportunities, and they know they have the capabilities of preventing that for a minute.
Oh, there's another one going off the backboard. Sad Jr. did not get the touch he was looking for. 22 seconds, 3 goals. It's going to be quite the comeback for Genesis. Not able to get the touch quite there. Pluto continuing to carry that one across, but not there at this moment. Final 12 seconds of gameplay. Moses and Pluto pushed up and onto offense, but just like you were saying, this strong iron wall of defense from Kings of Urban, keeping this ball out of their net, just not letting any shots to materialize at all. They're not getting saves, they're just getting the clears, they're just keeping them out and away. Quinn might get a consolatory goal there, but that's going to be it. At this point, Kings of Urban are going to be moving on to the finals to face iBuyPower. We're going to have Genesis dropping down to face Vex in the 3rd place match.
What an insane,
just put another nail in the coffin, just add insult to injury.
I mean, going against iBuyPower, I think I'd want to just get ready and sink as many goals as possible as well.
For sure.
What a close series. Man, it was 3-2. Genesis almost had it for 2 games.
So close.
But KOU kept their heads in. I'm actually impressed with both these teams being able to keep their heads in, making sure, I mean, you had Genesis coming in as the underdog and being able to fight this hard, and then you had KOU they had to win 2 games in a row just to make it in, and they ended up pulling it out. This last game, I was a little upset to see it such a landslide.
Right.
I think Genesis may have just kind of been a little off kilter in the last game, probably maybe slightly tilted because they were so close to taking it and they weren't able to sink just 1 or 2 more goals in or prevent 1 or 2 more goals. Either way, both teams had such great showings.
Yeah, such a strong showing from Genesis. Coming out strong, forcing the Game 7, but Kings of Urban not to be outdone, pulling it back, able to get the win. We'll be passing it back over to the analyst desk with Scott and the boys. Scott, what did you guys think?
Well, I really thought Genesis was about to take it on. I mean, they had the momentum. All of a sudden, Sad Jr. with a big Game 4. And then in 6 and 7, Jacob just kind of took over.
Yeah, Game 5 was that big one where Genesis actually won 2-1, 15 shots to 3.
Huge.
That's crazy. And then Game 6, they were up 2-0, and then Kings Urban scored 2 goals back-to-back within 30 seconds.
As soon as they scored those back-to-back goals, I had a kind of a gut feeling that they were a little bit disheartened, and they didn't show it. It's just the defense of KOU really played their role in those last 2 games. I mean, when you have 15 shots and then to completely shut it down and completely stop it and completely flip it around, what do you expect? Like, it sucks, but Genesis, so close.
Yeah, they'll be thinking about that one for a while. Let's take a look at the Mobile One High Performance replay. Kings of Urban moving on to the finals.
Yeah, first we got King Cobb. He's just a beast. Right here, that should have been a savable ball, though, there by, I think it was Pluto, who was a little shaky on defense at times. But King Cobb showing up, and that's what he does best.
Man, that misdirect, though. Look at that, playing that backwards into the other side. Momentum coming through. You take a hit like that and it plays out, but then you see Quinn here. We're going to call that a mind game, and we'll have to ask about him that later.
Like, Quinn had a great series. His first 3 games, he was scoring nonstop, and then that goal was just like all the luck was on his side.
Unfortunate, you see there going back and forth.
And the team play here by Genesis, they were starting to click on all cylinders, and then it just all kind of fell apart like in the end of Game 6 and then Game 7.
Yeah, that shot on net's really hard to read, and he tried to clear it across the net. It's just both players playing defense that caused that pinch, and unfortunately, the pinch led to the back of their net.
Yeah, Kings of Urban, though, hats off to him, down 2-0 after getting like completely outplayed in Game 5, and they battled back and win that game 4-3 with that Jacob goal. That was basically an own goal, but the pressure was there. What a series by both teams, for sure.
Yeah, overtime win was the key in this one. Genesis this close. So Vex and Genesis will play in our 3rd place match. Don't go anywhere. More of the online finals right here from the Rocket League Championship Series.